So did you get yourself a squealer and you just can't figure out why? The squealing I'm talking about, and I've covered this before in another video of how to remedy it, but this is another way of doing it with parts that are still available because the parts to do it the right way are unavailable. The squealing I'm talking about is when you try to use a radio like a Lafayette Telset SSB 140 with something like a Turner microphone. And it's not all Turner microphones, but some of the Turner microphones. One of these, the Turner Plus 3, just happens to be one of them. The problem is, this uses a 5-pin DIN plug, and it's that's not really so much the problem. The problem is the way the Turner Plus 3 microphones and some of the other microphones are wired internally through the switch contacts, the audio line. So, talk into the mic, amplifier board in here amplifies it. The audio that comes out this cord, actually, that is grounded when the radio's in receive. So when you're not pushing this button, it grounds the audio line. The problem is, if you ground the audio line in receive on one of these radios, you end up with a horrible squeal coming out of your speaker. The proper way to have done that back in the day, and I actually did a video on the Turner microphones, and I showed the differences. Some of the microphones had three sets of switch contacts in them, and some of the microphones had 2 sets of switch contacts in them. Like this microphone, to be very specific, this only has 2 sets of contacts, and that's the problem. You need that third switch, the one that's normally in the middle, to when you're in receive, so you're not pushing this button, the audio line is not connected. It's just floating. So Turner back in the day came out with a kit. You could retrofit the microphones with a different set of switches, and it depended on which microphone you had, which kit you had to get to properly do it. Of course, those things haven't been made for, God, probably decades now. And, you can, in some cases, you can take a set of switch contacts out of an old junk microphone and just add a third switch. The problem, again, with this specific microphone, the Turner Plus 3, is there's nowhere to mount the third switch. So what you can do is just install a relay. So normally, in the other Turner microphones where you have this problem, you would be able to install a set of switch contacts right here. You see, there's a set of holes right there in this place. It's kind of a universal plate. It's used with most of the microphones, but they vary in how the switches are laid out. But you can see there's an extra set of holes. Normally that set of holes would be over here in the middle. Well, obviously we can't stick another switch in here, for starters, in this microphone. The potentiometer's in the way for the mic gain control. So you're kind of left with, well, what the hell do I do? So you can try and build up a different switch for this one right here, because this is one that would normally cause the problem. It would normally have another contact in there. You'd have the battery on one side, the ground out to the rest of the microphone on the other, and then the contact in the middle is the actual microphone. The audio coming out of this amplifier board, and then it just goes out the cord here. But it's grounded when you're not pressing this button right here. So an easy way to get around that with nothing more than a couple little pieces of wire and a little small relay. That's all you need. Just get yourself a little 9-volt relay. It doesn't have to be this exact relay, if we can get it to focus on there so you can get the part number. Now this is a Aeromat. It's a DS2E-M-DC9V. And the 9V stands for 9 volts, because this microphone has a 9-volt battery in it. So it's very simple to install. 4 wires. You're just going to run, and there is this schematic on top of the relay, and it tells you, because, get it to focus again, the bottom one right there actually may not show up very well on the camera, but that's actually a little positive sign, and then there's a little negative sign there. So you just, in the bottom of the relays, right inside this glue, you can see the numbers. Went out of focus. You can see the numbers are actually embossed in the bottom of the housing there. But yeah, so you just hook upside down, hook up the positive here. Darn it. The positive at the bottom one there, the negative at the top, and then you have way more contacts than you need. But what you want to do is select a normally open switch contact. So that means when the relay is not energized, the contacts are not making contact. They are normally open. So you can pick either 4 and 8 or 13 and 9, because the relay is shown in the non-energized position, so this contact here is not making contact with the outside one here when it's off, and the same with the top. So you can pick either set of those, and all you're going to do is normally, like I say, this switch would have a third leaf in the middle. I actually disassembled the switch and just took the leaf out. You don't have to do that, but I do that because it's not needed anymore. But take that leaf out. You just take the two audio wires, because they're actually tied together. It goes straight from the audio amp board to that contact, and then the wire that's attached to the microphone cord is also soldered in the same place. So that's the clear heavy one here, kind of clear white, and then the small white one. They'll be soldered together. Take them off of that contact, put one, so that's the audio out of the board and audio out to the radio. So you're going to put those on the two contacts. So on this little relay here, that would be, let's say this one here, and that one right there. So counting from the left, the second one and the fourth one would be the ones you would attach the two white, or the one white and the one that's kind of a clear white, but your audio line to. The positive and the negative you want to attach, so if you follow your actual battery right here, or your battery connector, the negative wire actually comes over and attaches to this switch right here. So you follow the black wire off the battery, that comes over to the switch. You do not want to attach to that one. That one's got negative, that's attached to the battery all the time. What you want to do is go to the contact that's on the other side. So that's the negative out to the microphone amplifier circuit. You're going to attach your ground wire there. So what you're doing is when you push the talk button, it switches the ground on. And then your positive wire, again, you can just follow the positive wire down off of the battery, and it actually attaches to this potentiometer right there. There's already a couple red wires attached to it, and then you can just attach a little red wire over to your relay again. And actually that clicking sound you hear is the relay in this mic. So, and once you put the bottom back on this thing and set it up, it's really not that loud at all. The only thing I really have to do to this now is, of course, put some heat shrink tubing. You can see you can't see any of the connections. Put some heat shrink tubing on there. Make sure nothing ever shorts out. It also helps to reinforce the wires that you've soldered onto there. But I'll put two dots of glue, one on either side of that, one from the base plate here to this side of the relay, and then one from the little battery compartment here on this side, just down along the side, just so that it can't move around. Though, I doubt people are going to be swinging this microphone around over their head and beating against things, but just to make sure that the relay doesn't go bouncing around in there, just two little dots of glue will hold it in place. And now you can take your Turner microphone, and this one, the customer actually wanted the 4-pin jack on it, wired for like Cobra 4-pin, so Cobra, Galaxy, Ranger, most of your 4-pin radios nowadays. Because he'd like to use this microphone with several radios. So this way he can hook this up to a Cobra, let's say. But he also wants to be able to use it he has two of these. So this has the 5 pinned in. Actually, I need to pull my little shorting plug out of the end there. So you can get these adapter plugs. They won't have the little number tape on there. These are actually some of the ones I use here at the bench. But you can get these adapter plugs on eBay. Anybody that sells CB radio parts and accessories usually carries these as well. Now they don't make these for this radio, but they do make these for realistics. So if you look for a realistic 5-pin DIN to 4-pin Cobra mic adapter, what you can do is then just dismantle this and rewire it for use with this radio, which is what I've done with this one. And then the customer is going to do the same thing. He'll have these adapter plugs. You just buy the realistic ones, you rewire it so it works with this radio's wiring pattern, and now you can take your regular Turner microphone there, plug it into the radio. you can hear we have sound and no squealing noise, because that's what normally would happen. Before I put that relay inside this radio, with the radio turned on and the volume turned down the whole way, the instant this mic plug went in the radio, horrible squeal noise, really basically full blast. As much volume as you can get out of the audio amp, that's what will be coming out of the speaker. So as you can see, we can now plug it in. Works fine. It switches into transmit. And you can see as I talk into the microphone, you can watch the meters here, and you can see the microphone's working just like it's supposed to. So that's all that's really needed. Like I say, if you don't have access to extra sets of switch contacts, that's an easy way to get around that. Just stick a little miniature relay in there. Like I say, it doesn't have to be this one. You know, it definitely does not need this many terminals. It could be a 4-terminal relay. Have a positive and negative, and just a set of normally open contacts on it. But these are very popular. They're used in, this format right here comes in probably more voltage ratings than I've got fingers, but it's very popular, used in a lot of electronics, anything from washing machines to stereos and radios. So yeah, if it plugs into a wall or operates off a battery, these are very popular. So they're easy to find. You can get them on eBay, and all the electronic suppliers, Newark, Allied, DigiKey, everybody carries these things. I will say, buy brand name, something like Aeromat. Don't get cheap Chinese relays. I know people have been burned before. They get a dozen relays for like $1.99 delivered. Trust me, they cost $1.99 delivered for a reason. They're junk. I have literally seen those things brand new. You shake them and you can hear crap rattling around inside of them. So, yeah, stick with a good relay. They don't cost that much. And you can get your Turner microphone working with basically any radio then. That's the whole key, is you just need to disconnect the audio wire from the ground, so it's no longer grounded when the radio's in receive. So, and yes, it does say parts on top of this radio. This was, depends in what order videos get uploaded and when, but this customer had 2 of these. This was the one that was a parts radio, was missing a power supply, VCO block, had all kinds of problems, but it's been completely gone over inside. It works great now. The only problem it has is it still says parts on the top of it. Whoever owned this thing, unfortunately, wrote on the top cover with a Sharpie or some type of permanent marker, and it has soaked into this vinyl decal on top. I've tried alcohol, mineral spirits, isopropyl alcohol, denatured alcohol, mineral spirits, goof off, tetrachlorofluoroethane, which is ozone depleting cleaner. It's what the old tuner cleaners used to be. But yeah, I've tried a couple different chlorofluorocarbon style cleaners. Yeah, I got the surface stuff off, but unfortunately it actually soaked into this vinyl decal, so it says parts forever. So, in any case, there you go. There's just a really quick way for you to get your Turner microphone to stop making certain radios squeal.